Good day and peace to you, friends. The identity of the blind girl from France, Kaide Uber, still raises a lot of debates. Some claim that her gift is a divine phenomenon, and Vanga specifically pointed to her as her successor before passing away. However, others do not believe in the predictions of the 20-year-old French prophetess. In the series of videos about predictions, we have already talked several times about the girl's prophecies relevant to our time. And today we will tell you about how she describes the ongoing year of 2024, what events await us ahead, what to expect, what to fear, and what to be prepared for. When Kaide was little, thanks to Vanga's prophecy, which pointed out the place and time of her birth, the relatives of the prophetess and journalists found her and were amazed at how accurately the Bulgarian clairvoyant described her. Kaide Uber was born with a number of genetic disorders, including those related to vision. But like Vanga, she possesses the gift of foreseeing events and accurately predicts catastrophic and natural disasters. She precisely knows where to expect them and whether they are associated with multiple casualties. Like Vanga, she sees the destinies of unfamiliar people present nearby. In her hands is concentrated a power she calls a blessing from above. This power, like light, helps her see what is hidden from the eyes of an ordinary person. In childhood, Kaide managed to demonstrate her abilities more than once. She traveled the world, visited Russia in 2012, and many times later, surprising those around her with her abilities each time. In her recent interviews, the girl admitted that with each passing year, she sees more and more. If in the past, the pictures of the future were almost incomprehensible, blurred, and could only be interpreted by adults, now she herself perfectly understands what kind of future is open to her. Kaide is sure that she lives between two worlds, and someone calls it not a gift, but ordinary madness. However, during examinations, no pathological changes in her brain were recorded, which means that the likelihood that Vanga accurately pointed to the heiress of her gift is very high. The words of the Bulgarian clairvoyant, "My gift will pass to a little blind girl from France. She will not be like everyone else. She is the chosen one. This child is a miracle. Find her." End of quote. These searches continued for 15 years, and with the help of former members of the French branch of the Scientific Research Public Association, CAUSE, as well as journalists in one of the provincial French cities, Montpellier, they met people who pointed to Kaide Uber when the girl was only 8 years old. The whole city was already talking about her back then. Among her fulfilled prophecies are the global financial crisis, the revolution in Egypt, the death of Gaddafi, and the news about the corona. At that time, she predicted that something similar to the plague would take millions of lives. Kaide's predictions about fateful dates were also supported and announced in her address, stating that this day will mark the beginning of the new world. Kaide predicted that Russia would face fundamental changes, that the country would go through a very difficult period from 2022 to 2025, but it would be a time of the birth of a new country and a historical turning point that would affect the entire New World history. People will not return to the old order after going through a series of military conflicts that will shake the world. War in the world and mass conflicts, which will only gain momentum in 2024, will significantly affect the ecology and climate. During the period from the 24th to the 30th year, as many cataclysms will occur in the world as have not happened in the last 300 years, and this will be a signal for many people to relocate. Many will change their place of residence. Also among the cataclysms, Kaide sees extremely serious ones. There will be as many as 3 in the near future, and the first will come in 2024. The blind prophetess notes that she sees how the earth is changing, and it cannot be called anything other than cosmic vision. The global pictures of the new world bewildered not only modern predictors, even Nostradamus, following the starry sky many centuries ago, wrote stunning quatrains about the 21st century. Telling about how the earth would change in the future, how the continents would change their position, and what would serve this purpose. He foresaw not a massive drought covering a vast area and rifts in the earth, So, we often receive letters about how people with special abilities see the future, and many of them talk about the approaching global event that will shake the future. They already see the consequences, often associated with the elements of fire and water. Indian astrologer Anuradha Verma also warns about it, who has been considered one of the best forecasters for many years. Kaide Uber said even before the date with the doubles that a little time would pass after, and people would begin to value life more than all earthly wealth. Many believe that this is how she predicted the beginning of the time of multi-ends and the people associated with them who will be in the thick of events. After the fateful date with the doubles, the energy of destruction and transformation will intensify, which will affect everything and touch the lives and destinies of many people. New predictions by Kaide Uber tell a lot about the future of Russia and the world. Vanga herself loved Russia. She felt the spiritual power in the country, and a significant part of Vanga's prophecies about Russia speaks of the path to prosperity that Russia must go through worthily, that by the middle of the 21st century, it will be the richest and strongest country in the world, thanks to which a long peace will be established on Earth. When people stop fighting and finally engage in the care of the planet, which was destroyed, will be built. The old way of life, as well as the old architecture, will become a thing of the past, and new technologies will help people create a new, progressive, flourishing world. And for our descendants, there is a whole century of life without wars ahead. However, Vanga also said that the world will change so much that even the map of the Earth will be completely different. The continents will change their location. The waters of the world ocean and water landscapes will also expect changes. Reconstruction of the entire earthly system. Despite living in the heart of Europe, Kaide has made a rather alarming prediction regarding a large part of this territorial union. This prediction was recently made public. The girl witnessed a terrible catastrophe, calling it the Red Glow. She sees crowds of refugees, masses of people leaving Europe and moving northward. The migration flow is so massive that Europe faces a serious threat. The beginning of this event originates in the triangle of Turkey, Syria, Algeria, and extraordinary events will occur in the sky. After this, Europe will find itself in the grip of destruction and wars. People will lose their homes. The situation will resemble the worst times of the Middle Ages, where law and order will no longer matter, and the main thing will be power and what you have to protect yourself and your territory. Chaos will ensue, about which the girl has already warned her entire family and relatives. They claim that there is no more reason not to trust Kaide's predictions, as she accurately foresaw all the pivotal moments concerning the fate of her relatives, family affairs, and the fate of her country. France will also plunge into chaos, with no one listening to the President of France, and people will defend themselves as best they can. Europe will be flooded with migrants, leading to an unprecedented level of reduction in the quality of life. Fires will be everywhere, and strengthening winds will sweep everything in their path and spread fire right and left. Then people will understand that there is nothing more important than loved ones and those whom they can trust. As for Russia, Kaide sees the country isolated from all the aforementioned. Russia stands alone on the planet, and it is the only sovereign land of such scale. The girl asserts that when Europe faces water problems, Russia will not be threatened, as there is a lake there that can quench everyone's thirst. In the forthcoming events of change, Russia will be helped by some teaching from the past, which will come from an Eastern country, probably referring to an alliance with China and India, which also pursue their own policy and strive not to depend on the will of the West. Kaide warns of something bad for the West and sees a certain threat that cannot be discerned by the human eye. Perhaps this is related to bio-waste, and if the warnings are ignored, the entire planet is at risk. Bio-waste remains underestimated, although the truth lies on the surface. In case of ignoring the warnings, the entire planet is at risk.